Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 63 of the Parenting Autism Podcast with Chris and Sandy Colter. If you want to reach us on the web, we're at www.parentingautismshow.com, or if you want to reach out by email, it's parentingautism@att.net. And we hope everybody is doing well today. We have a lot to cover. It's been a while since we've been behind the microphones.
It has. It's been, I think, almost a month.
Yes. We have a lot to tell.
Yeah.
There might be part 1, part 2, part 3. We'll see.
Yeah. We don't want to hit y'all with everything at one time.
Yep.
But...
And we're going to announce our contest winner for March, right?
Correct.
Yep. And so we'll take it from the top, and I know you have a list, and I have a list, and let's...
We've made some notes. So the reason why we've been gone so long was that we mentioned on the last podcast that we were going to be taking a little staycation. So your family came down, and we were able to have some really nice quality time for almost 2 weeks with them. Bryce got a nice break from his therapy. He actually graduated first grade, and we finished that, so that was a big milestone. Yeah. And then when we got back from our little staycation, it was called Catch Up with Life. So that's what's been going on. We've been trying to get in here, but we finally did. But yeah, we could start off with, hey, congratulations to you and Bryce for finishing first grade.
Yeah.
And
thanks.
You did it actually at the end of March, so it was like ahead of schedule. That was fantastic.
We did it. We finished everything, and now that we're transitioning into second grade, I've taken a look at the curriculum, and there is more work to be done in second grade. So I anticipate.
So when you say work, what do you mean more work to be done?
So now they're going to add social studies into the mix.
Some more subjects.
Mm-hmm. And there's also extracurricular activities for language arts and math that we'll be doing on those.
Great.
So they have language arts, math, science, social studies. And then also I have to incorporate social skills and other things into that mix, and projects and outings and everything. So it's exciting. I know that it's going to fill up my day more than it already is, which is a little stressful to think about, but I know it'll work out.
It will work out. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm here for as well, so we can bounce it off of each other and don't take the weight of the world on your shoulders like you tend to do sometimes.
I know, yes.
And we'll just manage the time.
I'm one of those people that I like to do everything myself. I don't know why. It's just the way I am.
It's okay.
Yep.
It's okay. We're a team.
So
that was exciting. Actually, Bryce had been a little hesitant to do tests because he was afraid he was going to miss answers and things like that. And so you had him down to, I think, like 2 tests that he needed to take right before we left to go over to the condo. And when we got there, his Auntie Sue had a Nintendo Switch, which was something we were looking at to get Bryce at some point. Mm-hmm. And when we saw that she had it, and he was extremely interested in the game she was playing, which now we are familiar with, that apparently most of the world was
before
called
us,
Animal Crossing. Yeah, we're in the loop now. So anyway, so she had Animal Crossing. He was totally engaged. So we had the idea that we would give him that as his first grade graduation gift, because he really doesn't get to do anything like with a definitive ending like I used to have with the last day of school. You'd count down, you knew it was your last day, and then you got summer break, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of like, hey, you did a great job finishing first grade, and that gave him the motivation. So we came back home, grabbed the stuff that we needed so that you could wrap up there at the condo, and you guys did the last 2 tests. He got his gift. It was good.
And a lot of people might be thinking, wow, you guys ended at the end of March, how so early? Well, we started last year in June, I believe, end of June for first grade.
Right.
So I plan on doing mostly year-round school with him. And I've said before that I know that he's going to have some stumbling blocks at some point. So that's another reason why I want to do year-round, because it does give us extra time during the year. Maybe we're going away for a week, or Christmas break, you get a week, or, there's here and there we're going to be out of town. So that gives me the flexibility. If I plan it out for 10 or 11 months, then, it really gives me the flexibility to take breaks here and there.
It does. And I also think that the reason why we rolled right from kindergarten into first grade was to just keep structure for him, because I think that does help him.
Yeah, he's been asking, when are we going to start second grade?
Yeah, and so I have to tell you that last night when he and I were doing our bedtime snuggle routine, he's been sad the past couple of nights because there was one night that I needed to go to bed because you guys are staying up a little later. And he was sad because the door was closed. And I learned now that it was because he wanted to be able to give me love. And he said, but I needed to give you love because I love you. And I think you told him he couldn't come in because I was already asleep.
Yeah, I didn't want him to wake you up.
Right. So that's why he kept bringing up, why did you close the door? Why weren't you? So he explained that to me, but then he also brought up again, which has come up a couple of times this week, I really miss you when you go to Team IP. And last night he says, I really miss you when you go to Team IP on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Wow.
Do
so
you
really
miss
taking
me?
Notice.
And I said, well, I do miss you when I'm there, but why do you miss me so much? And he said, I don't have school till May. I don't start second grade until May.
Oh.
So that explained why this suddenly came up this week, is because he feels like he's on his break and I should be on this break with him. But once you get back into your school routine,
then it'll be okay.
It will be easier for him that I'm not here. Isn't that interesting?
And I do want to just chime in that he has been elaborating on his thoughts. So, he'll give us a sentence and then he'll add a because, or he'll add, the rest of the story, which is most oftentimes missing, and we have to decode it.
Oh, well, this took 2 nights, 3 nights. 3 nights for me to get all of the details when he keeps revisiting it, but at least we're getting it.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
So those were new developments last night that I didn't get a chance to tell you, but I learned why both of those things were upsetting him this week.
We do learn things during the show
yes,
that
we do.
We don't normally talk about, so yeah.
So anyway.
We forget about.
Well, I just hadn't really seen you yet today to sit down. So, So anyway, I thought both of those things were really interesting, and it just really shows us how his mind is always processing things and thinking about things, and he takes things so to heart, but it's not like all of a sudden he doesn't want me to work. It's just that he expects me to be home when he's like on a break.
Sure.
That's what I got out of that.
And I get that.
Yeah.
That's totally understandable.
So I will say, no, let's not go there yet. Let's talk more about vacation, and then I'll come back.
Yeah,
you take one.
I want to go back to the Switch, and, people may ask, well, why did we decide on the Switch instead of some other game console? Well, he's been playing with apps on his iPad, and of course he saw Auntie Sue with the Switch. But prior to that, we had borrowed the PlayStation 4 from his cousin Storm, because there's a really cool racing game on there, and he really loves cars. And so I thought, is this something that we want to invest more in? I'm looking at the games. Do we want to purchase games while we're borrowing it, or do we want to purchase a console? And I noticed that most of the PlayStation 4 games were for older kids. There was just a lot. It just seemed like a ton of things that was for mature age. And I'm like, nah, it's not really the way I want to go. He's 7. And then I looked at the Xbox, and it was the same way. And then the Switch, I looked at the Switch, and I'm like, oh, these are all pretty much all kids games, and they would be good for him,
Family friendly.
Yeah, like on this Animal Crossing game, he's learning things about animals and different kinds of butterflies, and that you have to dive down in the water to get clams. It's just he's learning a lot, and what to use a flimsy axe for, whatever. It's neat to hear him talk about it and point things out like, we saw something the other day, and he's like, oh, that's like my flimsy shovel. And I'm like, yeah. So, he's connecting those dots. And I just wanted to say that,
I think that's great. And the other thing that we really like about this is that he gets to actually still interact with Auntie Sue, even though she's back in Maryland, because they can do their games together. And apparently you can visit each other's islands.
Yes, they're friends
so
on
it's neat.
Animal Crossing. And they can visit each other's islands. Yeah. So, it's very neat.
So, that will really help keep them connected, because they hadn't seen Bryce in about a year and a half since they had actually seen him live and in person. And they all commented like how well he is doing and how he's like a little chatterbox now and much better eye contact with them. And he did. He was so proud to introduce them to anybody when we were out in public. And he just really made an effort to engage with each of them individually and get them to play with him, or he wanted to tell them things. And it was so wonderful to watch,
Yeah, he had a lot of fun. We had... our daily routine was to go to the pool in the morning.
Yes.
And then have some type of lunch, and then maybe go to the beach after lunch or something. But
we went to the beach when I had my days off, which I was able to get several days off, which was nice as well. So tell them about the swimming.
Swimming, yes. We went down one day for swimming. And in the prior few days, I noticed that he wasn't swimming very much at all. He just wanted to be on the floaty and pretend that we were sharks and, kind of play that type of game in the pool. He really didn't want to go underwater, that type of thing. And then these two little girls showed up, Sophie and Lexi. And come to find out that he... Oh, I hear
Daddy. Yeah. We'll be right back.
Okay, we're back, and Bryce just wanted to show us a new car, speaking of the PlayStation, that he earned while he was doing his little driving school on PS4.
He always likes us to see his rewards and prizes.
So back to the swimming. So these two little girls showed up, and one was the same age as Bryce, I think, and the other one was 10, if I'm not mistaken.
No, she was younger.
Oh, younger. Okay.
They were 5 and 7.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
My memory.
It's all good.
So they were swimming like fish in the pool. They just got in. They had this mask that covered their eyes and their nose, and they just dove into the pool, and they were I'm like, oh my goodness. So I immediately went into comparison mode because that's what you do when you're a parent of someone with autism. You're like, oh my goodness, they're so good at that. And Bryce,
you actually sent me a text while I was at work, and you told me about it, and you said, I started to compare, and it almost made me cry. And I told you what I've said on here: comparison is the thief of joy.
That's it.
And you can't do that, even though I know it's easy to do when it's put in your face. But
Bible says don't compare yourself to other people.
Yeah.
So They were swimming around, and he's like, oh, what's that? And they had a snorkel on the side, so they demonstrated how the snorkel worked. Well, after that, Bryce was all in. He's like, I want a face mask, so I asked Mom where she got it, and it was Walmart. So there was one down the street. So the next day, we went and got one for him, and he was so excited. The girls weren't there to see it. But he put it on, and he immediately started swimming, and
he did the flip.
They were doing flips underwater.
And
so
he did it.
He wanted to do a flip all by himself, and he did it. He was so proud of himself, and it was like a new kid. Because before that, I was thinking I was going to have to send him back to swim school because he wasn't swimming. He didn't want to swim, and I'm like, oh, did he lose his skills? What do we got to do here?
He just really doesn't like the water in his face, and I get it because I personally don't either. And he says it like burns his eyes, and he wants to be able to open his eyes underwater.
He had the goggles. I had the goggles on him.
I think he must feel like his nose too.
It had to do with his nose.
I think his. We've talked about this. It seems like his senses are heightened lately. His hearing, maybe even like his nose, all of that, I think seems to be magnifying.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that was it. I'm really glad it timed out that we picked that up when I was going to be home the next day, because I got to witness all that.
Yeah.
And then the following day, we did see Sophie and Lexi again down at the beach. And so Bryce had his mask this time, and then they were playing in the ocean. And it was really, really great.
Yeah, it was even good for him playing in the waves wearing the mask. Like, he didn't go under the water in the ocean, but he wore his mask so that the salt water wouldn't get in his eyes or his nose. So
and we were able to time it with low tide, so it was so great. I was saying that's the first time that I've really gone out and played in the ocean waves it's the first time we've done it as a family, like to that extent. But I just haven't been out playing like that in a really long time, and it was so fun. And it's crazy because we've talked about on here recently that Bryce was so afraid of the water because he didn't want to fall in at the jetty. So maybe it's just that kind of setting that he was afraid of, but here he seemed to really do okay going to the ocean. In fact, that first day, because we had seaplane, he wanted to go down there, which leads to the seaplane story. You said we could share that.
I guess so. So Bryce,
maybe you had to be there, but it really was pretty funny.
Bryce had his seaplane down at the ocean. I think, is that how we got him to go to the ocean?
Yes, it was. And it was our first day there.
Yeah, because he really had no interest in going out to the beach, but we wanted him to experience that. So we brought seaplane out to the beach, and I told him, I said, Bryce, don't let go of your seaplane because the ocean could take it out and it'll be gone forever, So he's playing with it, and then sure enough, he lets go of it. A wave comes in, and it starts to take his plane out to the ocean. And I said, see, Bryce, I said, you let go of your plane, and it's going out to the ocean. Well, that immediately led to panic on the part of Bryce. Like, oh, no, my seaplane's going. And I don't know, he was hesitant to go in after it or something, and
it was deep. He shouldn't go after it. It was going out deeper.
Yeah, it was going out deeper. So it was probably over his head, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. All I remember was...
Maybe I will take this story. Listen, let me finish the story.
Emergency, and I had to do something.
So you were at the water with Bryce.
Yep.
I am standing back on the sand.
I was taking pictures of it.
With Auntie Sue and Uncle Craig. I see what's going to happen, and I'm telling them as if I am narrating the movie, oh my gosh, the seaplane is going to float out there, and then Bryce isn't going to be able to go get it. Chris has got his phone out. He's going to get it wet. This is not going to be a good ending. And so I start saying, give me your phone. Give me your phone. But the waves were so loud you couldn't hear me. So I didn't even have a chance to walk towards you, but we're all watching this after I literally just called it play by play. Here goes the seaplane. Here you go, trying to get it because Bryce could not go get it because it would be deep. And then you...
Well, I had put the phone in my...
You did.
Once the emergency occurred...
Well, you did, and then you're trying to put your phone in the pocket.
I automatically put my phone in my pocket.
I saw that. Yes. And then you start
walking...
And
I was like, oh, well, it looks like it's about knee deep. So... Little did I know that there was a 3-foot trough as you enter the ocean. And
so I see you go from
down.
Yes, from waist deep to neck deep very quickly. And then you lost your balance and then you went down, like literally down.
I turned around because I was trying to get out of the water because I knew my phone was in my pocket. And then I fell down again into the water. I think it happened 3 times
3
total.
falls. Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, oh, I don't even care anymore. At this point, my phone is toast and whatever. And then a guy behind us, he's like, hey, do you want me to go in and get to see that plane? I was like, yeah. So he went in.
He was the hero.
Yeah, he was the hero.
He saved the plane and saved the day because Bryce would have been so upset if seaplane went out to sea.
I get out of the water. I am soaked from my chest all the way to my feet. And I get the phone out of my pocket and I hand it to you. And I go back to, corral Bryce and wrap that up. And to my amazement, I came back to you and...
It was dry.
It was completely dry, and I can't even believe that. The phone was completely dry. It has a case on it but it's just like a wallet case. It's open on the top and the bottom. It was not in any kind of waterproof case. No. And it was dry as a bone. I couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it to this day.
Well, our neighbor told us that this new phone is waterproof. And I'm like,
but it doesn't matter. It didn't even get wet. If it is,
I still can't believe it. We gave it the ultimate test. The ultimate test.
You're missing it. It wasn't even wet to be tested. That's the thing.
True. It just like
that's what I'm saying.
It was like a repellent. It was like God parted the Red Sea off your phone.
There was not a drop on the. I don't even think there was a drop on the case.
Actually, inside, none of your stuff your money wasn't wet.
No,
none of it.
That's what I'm saying. I went down 3 times in the ocean.
I'm sorry. I still have the picture in my head.
Yeah, well.
We all did kind of make jokes about that for the 2 weeks they were here.
I know that was on day 1. Was it?
It was day 1.
Day 1, yeah. So it was
a lot of fun.
I got flack for that for a while.
It's okay. So anyway, it was good though. We had fun time at the ocean. We did not take seaplane to the beach again.
We did not take again. Yeah.
Lesson learned there.
But we did go back at low tide again, and he loved being hit by the waves.
He did.
We took his mask and he wore it in the salt water to protect his eyes.
There must be good sensory input for him.
I don't know, but I'm like, and he wanted to keep going out further and further.
I bet there is sensory with that.
I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, it was good.
Anywho, yeah, good stuff.
What else you got on your list over there?
Me? Why all me?
Because your list was longer than mine. So.
Oh, okay. So I got falling in the ocean.
We got it. I knew you had that on there. You act like, you can tell it. You had it on your list.
I know, right?
Mr. Modest.
So new thing that he's learned how to do, and I don't know if we mentioned this on the last show or not, but he's taking capsules now. And we started with his enzyme. Mm-hmm. We found an enzyme that's supposed to help digest the dairy protein, gluten, and soy. So whenever he has a dairy, because we know dairy is a big offender for him, he takes that. And I mentioned to him once, I was like, well, why don't you take the capsule? And I think he tried once and it came back out. And then he's like, he didn't want to try it again. But later on, he did try it like a couple of days after that. And he got it down and he was so proud of himself.
Yeah.
And now he does it. He would rather take the capsule than me sprinkle it into his little apple juice.
Yeah, because he hated the taste of it enough that he learned how to swallow a capsule. Yeah. I know that's what it was. So that was good.
That was a big milestone.
And I will say that I have seen improvements in his skin. Like after he had ice cream, he didn't really break out because we got him ice cream as a treat for graduating first grade, with the family. And when he had ice cream at Mom's and he took he's not getting that massive breakout on around his mouth like he did before. Yeah. So that's good.
Maybe it's working.
I don't want him to have this all the time, obviously, because I don't want him to have the sugar and all the junk. Mm-hmm. But it's nice now that I know he can have a special treat. Like he wanted donuts for Easter morning. Well, then he had the capsule and his face didn't break all out like it normally does. So I do think that it's working for him. Not working for me, but it is working for him.
Well, you're supposed to take 2 if you're an adult.
You told me that now. So
now
but anyway, it's good for him.
Again. Yeah. Let's see. Next is he lost his tooth.
Ah, yes, he did.
Did we post a video about that?
I did not on the Parenting Autism. I just put it on my personal page this morning.
Okay, so we'll get that over to YouTube at some point, right?
We can.
Okay.
I videoed a lot because he's had this bottom tooth. And so he lost 2 teeth like within the same week. More than a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time since he's lost a tooth. So this time he has a lot more
awareness
and comprehension and ability to, for us to reason with him and stuff. So we've been kind of preparing him, and this tooth has been not quite dangling, but very, very loose for a long time, for the past couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. We thought it might happen while we were at the condo, while the family was there, but it didn't. And then we would ask him if he was ready, and he wasn't. So we just kind of let him do it at his pace. Mm-hmm. And I guess he finally decided that he was ready. I think this is when I came home Thursday.
Yeah, so we were at my friend's auto shop, and I was helping him out with some paperwork and stuff. And Bryce was there with me, and he comes over to me. He's like, "Daddy, start a video." I'm like, "What? For what?" So I'm like, okay, I pulled my phone out, start videoing him, and then he reaches in his mouth and he's like wiggling the tooth.
Cute.
And I'm like, oh, that's so awesome. I said, well, why don't you wait, buddy? Because I didn't know what the scene was going to be like if the tooth came out there.
True,
right? So
true.
I'm like, why don't you wait until we go home and you can show mommy, right? Because we're only going to be here for a few more minutes. And he's like, oh, okay. So he did that, and then you can.
So when I got home, that's the first thing he said, Mommy, make a video. I'm like, of what? And then he was ready. So we tried. I mean, I was recording, and then we went for a long time, and he was having a hard time getting it out, and then I'd start another one, and then we did have the idea. He said it was starting to hurt him, and it was dangling at this point, so it needed to be done.
Yep.
So we were past the point of no return. So we put some numbing gel on there.
A gel,
yeah. And that did it. I mean, he hated the taste, so that's the video. He's like taking water and spitting it out. But when he did that, he touched it one more time, and then it came out.
Yeah.
He didn't even make a sound. Then
what
he
did he
just
say
looked
about
at me.
the blood? Did he say anything about the blood?
He just said, "What's that red stuff?"
Oh, yeah.
And I said, "What? That's..." And I go, "You know what it is."
Yeah.
And he goes, I go, "What is?" He goes, "I don't know." And I said, "It's blood." He goes, "Why is there blood?" And I'm like, "Well, because you just broke the root up." But it really wasn't bleeding. And I showed him a picture, took a picture, showed him the picture. There was zero drama.
Yeah.
It was great.
That taking a picture and the tooth coming out, that just reminds me about the whole tooth thing. So we're starting to floss now, and he's always asking me to come in the bathroom and help him floss. Yeah. But I always try to get the answer out of him. Like, why do you need me to help you? I've showed you umpteen times how to do it. And he finally says,
right,
I can't see my teeth. I'm like, oh, you need to see your teeth to floss. Okay. So I ordered him a little square mirror, $10 or whatever. And now he can see his teeth when he flosses. And it's and brushing too. It's helping him brush.
Yeah.
He's helping him see where to brush his teeth. I guess for some reason he needs to see that in a mirror.
Well, he's a
and
visual
it's really
kid.
helped him.
It helps him.
So
it's so cute. I love, because one of my goals has been for him to independently know that he needs to brush his teeth and to floss, not us having to constantly tell him. Mm-hmm. So this morning while he was getting ready, I heard him say, as soon as I get dressed and do my hair, then I'll do my morning workout, which cracked me up because you guys just started this morning workout routine. So I'm like, okay. And then he goes, wait a minute. Oh, and I forgot I have to brush and floss my teeth.
Yeah.
So that was like 100% independent. Mm-hmm. And he put his underwear on the right way. The back was in the back and the front was in the front. It was like a victorious getting ready kind of day.
It was great. It was great. He just doesn't pay attention when he puts his underwear and his socks on, so that oftentimes they're backwards.
It's funny. Yes, it is.
You got one?
I do. I will follow up with something we did at the condo, and it's kind of followed. But the puppets, while we were over there, we took the puppets over to do church because the past couple of episodes I have talked about us trying to find ways to teach Bryce about God. And I do want to say thank you to those who have reached out to me about that. And I'm so glad to know that this is helping other mamas who have had the same prayer, for their children, and that, I now am able to give them some tools. And I just started working on joy today, so I'm pretty excited about that. But anyway, so we got these puppets and we took them out there, and it was really fun because I had bought 4 with the idea that I had a puppet theater, and like you and I would be behind doing the puppet show for Bryce and his friends. But no, Bryce was like, I want to do a puppet. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this time we returned the theater, and we're just going to do it this way. And we let Auntie Sue take a puppet, and then Bryce wanted you to be the boy puppet. Yep. So he invited you into the show. And I wasn't sure if I was keeping all the puppets, so I did keep the tags on them. And so that is really what you were highlighting in your part. That's on
YouTube now.
It is on YouTube.
Parenting
I shared it on Parenting Autism
channel.
Facebook too. But I'm telling you, we had so much fun with that. And I still laugh every time. I know Aunt Lorraine says she laughs she goes, this doesn't get old. It was really fun. And I'm so glad you recorded part of that. But what was really cool from a parenting perspective for autism is it really helps Bryce engage in conversation.
Yes.
I mean, he talks back and forth in sentences.
Because it's not him directly talking.
Right.
It's his puppet.
Right. And so he does that, and he has his own little voice when he talks, And also, I was like using my puppet to say, look at me. Can I see your eyes? And then our puppets made eye contact. Mm-hmm. And that's important for him so he can see that. And, we can kind of model that for him. So I have found already just in these few weeks that we're doing it, and we're doing it on Sundays. Mm-hmm. So that way he knows to look forward to that, to do puppets on Sunday. So this past Sunday, that was 2 weeks ago. So this past Sunday, we took him to my parents because it was Easter. Mm. And so I thought, Mom would have fun being a puppet. And you weren't really into it for whatever reason. Yeah. I don't question you. But you were a dud. I will call you out. So you really weren't into it like you were the prior week. But Mom was into it. But my dad was clueless sitting in the chair. So
he was watching golf.
He was watching golf. So we're like going back and forth and back and forth. And I mean, we're probably 5 to 10 minutes into this. And Dad all of a sudden says, I feel like I'm missing something here.
Like he just figured out we were doing puppets.
Yes, that was the funniest thing. But we did, and we had fun, and these puppets are just good things.
It's really a great idea to bring the language out of your child and help them in social situations. You can do social situations with puppets, and they can kind of see it from an outside perspective.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it
helps
fun.
them with their language.
So I'm glad Mom got to do it too.
It was a great idea.
Yeah. So looking forward to our puppet show tomorrow. We'll have another one. But that's really good. I am excited to see what God gives me to continue to build this curriculum, and I am going to be sharing it eventually on our website because we have some tools and resources there. But again, if you want what I've already put together for the first fruit of the Spirit, which is love, just send me an email and I'll be happy to send it your way.
Yeah. Is that on our website at all?
I haven't put anything up yet, no.
Okay, so maybe
we'll do that. Who has had time to do that?
I know, right?
So I'm just kind of I'm still tweaking it out. So when I have it all together, I'm going to put it up. But in the meantime, I have no problem sharing what I got.
Yeah, cool. What else you got?
Let me put my glasses on because I can't see. You want to take one?
While you're doing that,
Go ahead.
I'll take one. So we planted a garden. We got a raised garden bed from Sam's Club. And we had been talking about roots and plants and things in school. And then it came up again at some point about planting seeds or whatever. So it's planting season here in Florida in March and April. So we planted some squash, zucchini, cucumber, radish, onion, beans, carrots. So we put the seeds in, and we bought some plants that were already like plants. And then we bought a bunch of seeds, and we planted them a few days ago. And so he helped me put the planter bed together. He screwed the screws in, and I just made sure they were tight. He did a great job. And then he helped me put the dirt in. And so we went through the whole process together so that he's invested in it. And so yesterday and today we've been able to go outside and see the fruits of our labor because we have little sprouts coming up for the beans and the radishes.
That's exciting.
So it's really exciting, and I'm hoping that it will lead to us, eating some raw vegetables from our garden and him liking it after he sees where it comes from, and, maybe it'll taste good for him. And the
other night we had green beans as part of our dinner, and he wasn't really crazy about this particular meal. But then I said, well, look, there's green beans that's planted out there. Let's read your little sign. This is what you're growing, so I want you to try one. You have to eat at least one. And these were long green beans. Mm-hmm. It was really like 4 bites. So he did.
Good.
He did, and I pointed that out to him because I said, we're growing more out there. So I was glad I had that as something to point out to give him that motivation to eat the bean.
Oh, and while we're on the meal thing, we had a meal the other night that was Korean-based. So it was like a South Korean meal. And he's like, oh, no, I don't want that. I don't want that. He looked at the plate. And I'm like, oh, well, you got to take a bite. That's our That's our unspoken rule is you have to take a bite.
Yep.
I was thinking that, but I didn't say that. So I took the opportunity and I grabbed his globe, and it's a little talking globe. And I was like, okay, well, this food is from South Korea. I said, let's go get our globe and find South Korea on the globe so you can see where it comes from.
Yeah.
So we did that. We brought the globe out to the kitchen table, and we found South Korea, and he turned the globe on, and he used his little magic pen, and he touched it, and it showed the flag and a couple of things about the culture and stuff. And I was like, see, that's where this food is from. Okay, you want to take a bite? So he did. And did he eat the whole thing?
He cleaned the plate.
Yeah, he cleaned the plate. And
that was 100% winner.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, wow, this is awesome. So that's food for thought. Anybody out there, make it more interesting.
That's all we're trying to do is like figuring out ways to get him engaged in what he's eating instead of just eat your meal, give him some story, I don't know, something to keep him engaged. And it's working. Yeah. What else you got?
Oh, well, you were putting your glasses on.
Well, that's so I could read.
Well, I know. I thought you might have another one. Let's see. Oh, we made a snack yesterday. It's kind of like from Cub Scouts. It's called one of their healthy snacks, bugs on a log. So what it is it's a celery stalk, and you're supposed to put peanut butter on it, but Bryce is allergic to peanut butter, and it said, hey, if you're allergic to peanut butter, substitute it with cream cheese. So we did. We got cream cheese, and then the bugs on the log are the raisins. Yeah. So we put raisins on. So he helped cut the celery and put the cheese on. And he's like, no, I'm not going to eat this. So I told him, I said, take one bite. And he took one bite, and he chewed it up. And he's like, I'm all done. I'm all done. I said, and we had some extra raisins. I said, well, just have a couple raisins. You know, you like raisins. He hasn't had them in a while.
But he did when he was little.
Yeah, so he took a bite of that, and he's like, oh, these are good. I was like, okay, well, then, take another bite of this celery. And he did. And later on in the day, I said, how'd you like that snack today? The bugs on the log. And he's like, yeah. And I said, do you want to do that again? He says, yes, we'll do that tomorrow. I said, okay. So I don't know if he was just pushing me off or he really wanted to try it. So we'll give it a shot.
That's good. Well, my next two topics I have might be lengthy and more serious. And I feel like this is like an upbeat catch-up kind of episode.
So like a next episode type thing?
I think so.
Okay, well, I got some more then.
Good. So roll on.
Summer camp is one thing that I'm looking into right now because we're coming up on summer. And it's the first time I've looked into a summer camp because it's the first time that I think Bryce might be able to do something like that. And I've been looking at different camps, and I'm running into, okay, some of them are drop-off camps where you drop your child off and then pick them up at the end of the day.
Which I say, no.
I know. So it's I haven't landed on one yet. But
I think we should try vacation Bible schools.
Okay.
Because now he's at the age that, because they have age limits, so we haven't been able to do it the past couple of years. Well, then last year was COVID, but the year before that he was 5, and they really want you to be older. So I really think that he could do vacation Bible schools. You could just find, we got several in our area. It's not all day. It's usually like an hour or two. And, they have like a little story. They play games. They get a snack.
Okay.
Definitely a lot of peer interaction. And I'm positive that if we explain the circumstances, they would be happy to have you there as an additional volunteer because they need volunteers there anyway.
Right. Well,
I think we line those up, and that would be great for you guys.
We'll check it out. Yeah, because I've just kind of been running into these speed bumps where...
See, again, this is where we need to have a chance to talk. But
I know.
Yeah.
Can I attend? Can I be there? But I really don't want to be there 8 hours with him during a summer camp.
And he doesn't need that. He really doesn't need 8 hours. That's a long time for him and his ability. His abilities. That's more for like parents who are working and can't be with their kid, and they need somebody for 8 hours.
Yep.
But no, I think it's great that you're looking into these things to do, and this is the window of time that things will become available. I remember 2 years ago, we were trying to find different things. And we even looked at like these week camps that go on. And those are sometimes half a day. So like they might have a surf camp that, hey, if he's interested in that. And I think they even have an autism surf related camp in our area. I think we looked into music camp. And they wouldn't let him at that time, and then he was still sensitive with the sounds. But we'll definitely keep find one looking. That fits him. But I think it's great, and it is that opportunity.
Next is the upcoming air show. So I found he's been loving the Blue Angels. He's got an app on his iPad where he can fly the Blue Angels. So I asked him if he would want to go see them, and he's like, yeah. So I searched around for air shows, and there's one in Florida that's next weekend that we're going to go to. And he has this interest in cargo planes. I don't know where he got, probably one of the planes that he flies on his game. But anyway, he loves watching YouTube videos of the military equipment rolling out of the back of the cargo plane and the parachute opening.
He is all about parachutes.
Falling to the ground. So I told him, I said, guess what? I said, you know that cargo plane you watch? I said, it's going to be at the air show, and the ramp is going to be down, and you can walk inside of it. Well, he is over
That's going to be really cool.
Really excited. And I told him, I said, it's probably going to be loud. Do you want to wear earplugs that go in your ear, or do you want to wear your headphones? And this is one of those cases where you don't know if he means what he says in an answer or why he says it, but he elaborated this time. So he says, I want my headphones. And he followed up with a because. He says, because it fits all the way around my ear. And I'm like, oh, well, thank you for giving me those details. That helps me. So whenever he elaborates like that, we're trying to plug that as a opportunity to praise and say, thank you. Those details help me understand. Next is, he had a episode where he wanted to run away. Was that one of the things that you wanted to cover?
No, I didn't actually have that one.
Okay, so he had an issue where something happened.
That was with you guys.
I forgot what it is now. But in any case,
I do know what it was.
What was it?
There was something that you were working on, and you had it on the counter, and you told him not to touch it.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You said, stay away from that. You don't touch that. And then you went in to work on my computer or something in the office.
So it was your brand new computer monitor.
There we go, the monitor.
So I set it on the counter aside while I was working on your computer. And
in a separate room.
Yeah, in a separate room. And he was in the kitchen when I put it on there. He's like, what's that? And I'm like, okay, buddy. I was like, this is a computer monitor. I don't want you to touch it or go near it, okay? And so, and I said it just like that, but he felt like he was being reprimanded for not doing anything or something. So I went into the office to work on the computer, and I had no clue that he took it the wrong way, or, that he was upset about it. And then I heard him mumbling something out there, and I was like, what's going on? And he says, oh, well, I'm just going to run away.
Didn't he tell you first he was going to go to outer space?
Yeah, I'm going to blast off into outer space.
Which would be his form of escape.
Yeah, and then he said, I'm going to run away. So I'm
he had dropped to the floor, correct?
I think he did. I mean,
that's what you told me, because it was fresher to you at that time, and you texted me so I would know.
To give you a heads up.
Well, and so you can remember the details, because if I'm not here when we have to report this in his ABA app, I don't know. So that's what you had told me. He had dropped to the floor.
So I immediately locked the front door and put the key out of reach. I sometimes leave the door unlocked now, not open, but unlocked, because he's usually in the same room with me, or we're interacting in some way. I know that he's here, and there's no reason for him to leave. There's no loud noises. There's no smoke. It's why would he leave? And he doesn't really attempt ever to leave.
I can't say that he does unless there's an emergency or a problem.
But when he said that, I'm like, no, I need to lock the door because I'm going to be in the other room, and I don't know what his frame of mind is. So I just locked the door, and now we've decided that we're going to keep the front door locked at all times.
I appreciate
we just
that.
don't know.
And that's the thing. You were in the other room and you did not have a clue that you had upset him.
Mm-hmm.
And my concern, and I think it's a legit concern, is that he could leave because in his mind, he always says, I'll run away. He says it fairly often.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he
whenever he gets upset,
would not realize the harm he could cause himself, but I could see him leaving the house.
And his personality,
in his complete innocence.
Right. He would not, his ability to miss people, like if he ran away, he would miss us, but he doesn't realize that.
He would just be in that moment, where he's doing a behavior and he doesn't understand any type of consequence with that.
Right.
He's just thinking, I'm sad and I need to run away.
He would walk down the street.
And if the door was open, he would leave the house.
Yeah.
So I really appreciated you, hearing me out on that and agreeing to keep it. And I know it's a pain in the butt. It is. And we have like one of those locks that you have to use a key to open it from the inside and the outside. And we have to keep, and Bryce has gotten taller. So the space where we had it before, he can reach now.
Yep.
So that's okay. I mean, we had Missy come to watch him last night and we're like, okay, we're really locking the door now. I mean, she did anyway. In fact, it was her that brought it to our attention that when we left, it was unlocked or something. So I'm like, no, we should be locking it. And then this happened and that sealed the deal. But
so along those lines, I get a note yesterday from one of his nurse care managers, and she was asking me, how things are going. They haven't gone back to in-person visits yet. So I told her everything was going good, and then she came back with a question and says, would Bryce know what to do if there was a fire? And I thought to myself, I can't answer that. I need to find out. It's one of the things I didn't have an answer for.
Right.
Because he's grown up more.
I wouldn't have known
since
the answer
the last
either.
time we've been through that type of thing. He's grown up more. He's talking more. So I said, Bryce, what would you do if there was a fire inside the house? And he's thought about it for a minute, and he said, I would call the fire department. I said, okay. I walked him over to the phone. I said, how would you do that? So I picked up the handset for him and held the phone. And he said, I would push 911 and then I would push this button. And he pointed to the talk button. So if he did things in that order, it would make the phone call. So I said, good. And then you would tell him that there was a fire and stuff. So, and then I said, well, what would you do if you could not get to the phone? What would you do if there was fire around this phone and you couldn't call the fire department?
I love this answer.
I know. And he says, well, I would go into the office and get the other phone.
That is brilliant.
Like, I'm trying to, I said, okay.
When you shared that with me, that was like the best. I love that.
I said, that's great, buddy. I said, well, let's say there was a fire in the office and it was just a really big fire. What would you do? And you can't call anybody. What would you do? And he thought about it for a long time. He said, I would go out this way. And he pointed to the front door. I said, okay. I said, that's good. I said, but what if the front door is locked? Because, now we're keeping it locked. What would you do? And he thought about it. And then he said, I would go out into the backyard. Or he pointed to the backyard. I would go out that way. I said, that's right. That's what you do. I said, if there's a big fire, you get out of the house. And
he knows how to unlock the slider.
Yes. And so, and you guys might be thinking, well, why don't you lock your slider? Well, we're fenced in, so he can't get out of the backyard if he was into the backyard.
Correct.
So then I told him, I said, if there is a fire and you go outside, if he is able to get out the front or whatever, to go talk to the neighbor and tell them, the house is on fire. Can you call the fire department? So,
I mean, not that he should be here alone and that's going to happen, but at least he has those concepts.
Yeah.
So like if we were sleeping
right,
and he woke up and the house was on fire, he would probably go to the office first because that's the closest to his bedroom and dial 911.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, at least he's thinking that. I don't know.
Yeah.
He knows to do that before even coming to get us.
Yeah. And I told him that, the chances of the house catching on fire are just very slim, and it's not going to...
He didn't mention it to me at all yet, so that tells me that it's not like...
It's not a big
It's not worrying
issue.
him.
Yeah.
Or it would have come up.
What else do I have?
I do want to share this. I had shared earlier about our snuggles at night this week. And so Thursday night, when we got into the bed, I don't know why, but my feet were cramping in a really bad way. Yeah. And Bryce has a weighted blanket that he sleeps with, and that's really been helping him a lot lately. But I had it on me, and I was wondering if maybe the extra weight on my feet were making my feet cramp. So I was trying to get my feet out underneath, and it was really hurting. And I couldn't hide it from him. So he's like, "What's wrong, Mommy?" And I'm like, "My feet are hurting." "Why are they hurting? Like Daddy's feet? Are they hurting like Daddy's?" And I'm like, "No, this is different. It's like a cramp." And I'm trying to explain it. And he goes, "Can I help you?" "I will rescue you, Mommy. I will rescue you and help you." And I said, "I wish you could, buddy, but there's really nothing you can do." And he goes, "Yes, I can. I can get you medicine. I will go in the other room and I will get you medicine and you can take it and then it will tell your pain to go away." It was so sweet. So I'm like, "Okay, you go do that. If Daddy's still up, you can get it. And if not, don't worry about it. But if so, tell Daddy to get pain relievers." So he goes into his bathroom, which is closest to his room, and I saw him open the cabinet. I could see he was opening the medicine cabinet, and he came back and he goes, "It's not there. There's no medicine." And I said, "It's okay. They're all better now," which they really weren't, but I'm like, they're better now. You helped it. And he goes, "They are? They're all better?" I said, "Did you pray for them?" He says, "Dear God, help Mommy's feet feel better. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen." I said, "Oh, they're all better. Thank you so much. You saved the day." So he was so happy. So now I was sharing this story with you when we got to go out to dinner last night. And then you told me what he said to you, which was?
Yeah. So when he got up in the morning following that, you weren't here, but he says, "Daddy, I need to know where the medicine is to give Mommy for pain." And I'm like,
out of the blue to
out
you.
Out of the blue. I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Come over here," or something. He's showing me in the medicine cabinet. He's like, "Show me where the medicine is for Mommy that I can give her." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to show him anything that he really shouldn't have in his hands, right?" So we go into his bathroom and open the medicine cabinet. Well, it's all the children's, Benadryl or children's cough medicine, but there was a little bottle of saline solution for his nose. I said, "If Mommy's in pain," I said, "you get this and you go give it to her." He's like, "Okay, thank you."
So what I take from that is A, he was still concerned about my well-being the next day, which was super precious. Mm-hmm. And B, I'm so glad we communicate, because otherwise I'd wonder why in the world he was bringing me saline for cramps in my feet. Right, so yeah, it was really good.
So now you know.
Super sweet.
I just have a couple more things. I know we're probably running long on this, but
that's what you get after a month of no chatting.
Yes, it's been a while. So we did In Case of the Fire, and he brought up the butterfly plant again. So
good. I'm excited about that.
About a year ago, we did the butterfly project.
Which we talked about on podcasts.
Yeah. So you get the basket from Amazon or whatever, and you do the whole butterfly cocoon. You buy the plant. It's already got the eggs on it. Put it in there. You get the caterpillar and the cocoon and all that stuff. So he's like, "I want to hold it on my finger," because a lot of the butterflies last year we were able to put on his finger before they flew away. So he's excited about that. So we're going to do it again. I'm so glad that it made that impact on him.
I'm excited too.
He wants to do it again.
Well, and on his Animal Crossing, he is learning more about butterflies and insects and stuff. Yeah. In fact, when we were doing Easter eggs, which that's a whole other topic, which I did share on parenting on our YouTube video too. But while I was out there trying to teach him how to hunt for Easter eggs, this white butterfly comes by and he goes, "Mommy, is that a such and such butterfly?" I'm like, "I don't know." And he goes, "Was it white?" I said, "Yes, it was." "Oh, okay. Yes, it was." I'm like, "Okay." So he's like out there educating me about butterflies, but
which kind
it's
of
really
was.
cute.
Yeah. And then a fun activity that we did the other day was a beanbag on top of your head walking on a balance beam. So we had like a 4x4 post, a wooden post in the shed that I got out. We got some beanbags from Walmart, So we tried to walk the thing with the beanbag on the head, but he's like, Daddy, it keeps sliding off my hair. So balance is really important for kids on the spectrum because a lot of them don't have it. And he needs to work on that too because he doesn't have great balance. He has balance, but, it could use some work. So he kept falling off, and one time he made it almost all the way to the end. So I was cheering him on for that. And then I said, well, let's take the balance beam out of the pitcher and just walk on the ground with the beanbag on our heads. And he still had trouble with that, and he was getting frustrated, and he was starting to throw the beanbag up into the tree. And I'm like, well, we don't want to lose the beanbag. So I switched it up to plan C, which was throwing the beanbag to each other. So that worked out great, and we had fun doing that.
I think you're doing a lot of great things with him. I want to revisit the Easter egg hunt, which I kind of forgot about. There's been so much going on. But I just want to say that I had several different friends saying, oh, are you doing eggs with Bryce? Are you doing Easter with Bryce? What are you guys doing? And I don't think, like maybe I even realized, but other people realize, like, it's very different for us with Bryce. And in fact, we had talked about maybe having a bunch of his friends over and doing an egg hunt in the backyard, which could be fun. And it didn't time out, but I'm kind of glad that didn't work out because I didn't realize even Bryce is like 7.5 now. And he really didn't know what to do. I had to point out to him, like, lead him to the first 3 or 4 eggs. And I kind of knew the order.
It's already difficult for him to look for something, in air quotes, look for something, because whenever something's lost, he just sits there. He doesn't know what to do. So when he comes to Easter eggs, it's the same type of concept. You have to look around. Well,
you do. And, and he was looking in the grass because that would be the obvious. And that's probably all that he was familiar with. But I didn't put them all in the grass. I put them in different things because I really wanted him to get the concept that things are hidden, but you can find them and they're in view. And we don't really get him candy and stuff. So I had these plastic eggs I kept from last year. And I have this Ziploc bag of coins that I kind of recycle for Bryce. So when he thinks he's buying a game or earning something, I put him back in the bag and it kind of goes around. So I grabbed this bag of change that I had in my drawer and I put them all in his eggs. And so I knew that he would hear them when he was picking them up. So I said, because he said earlier, what's going to be inside them? Maybe an M&M? I'm like, I don't think so. But there could be something inside. So that's when I'm like, I better put something in it. So I put the coins. So I told him once he got his egg, he couldn't open anything until we had them all. So he's good. He's very rule compliant. So by the 5th egg, he really was getting the concept. But on the video, you can see that he finally got it and he knew to look. And when he saw the first one for the first time on his own, he literally ran over to it and was so excited and put it into his basket. And then the second one was really easy to find as well right there. And so he ran to that one and then he got it. And then I talked him through the last few, but it was really like rewarding for me and my heart was melting for him. Like, wow, had we done this with a group of kids, he would have been lost. Oh, yeah. He would have been confused. He might have been frustrated or he might have shut down because they're getting them all and he's getting nothing. He would have been left with none. Really, that would be it. So next year, I know to give him a dry run in advance and then we can try it with friends. And I might even give him the map so he has, a little bit of a shot. So you got to do what you got to do. But it was really great. And then he could hear the coins. He goes, maybe there's money in these. I said, do you think? And he's like, I hear something in there. And then as he was opening them, you could just see like his excitement that there were more quarters and more quarters. So we took that money. I said, what do you want to do with your money? And he said, I want to buy a game. And I said, well, do you want to save up for a bigger game or do you want to get a game now? And he has a hard time saving. We're working on that. So I said, well, I think you should give God some money. You got $3 here. How much do you want to give God? He says, a penny. I said, okay, we'll give him a penny. So I said, just remember, the more you give God, the more he'll give back to you because that's how it works. So when he lost his tooth a couple of days ago, I had already told him I would give him $3. And we didn't do the tooth fairy because I don't want him to freak out thinking somebody's coming in his room and into his bedroom and leaving something under his pillow. You know, let's just not even go there. We'll just give you money and we'll take credit.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, you can have $3, which I told him. So when he was getting this tooth loose, you didn't hear all this. And he said, he goes, do I get money? I said, you do. I said, do you remember how much? He goes, $20. I said, no. $20. And he's just kind of grinned at me. He goes, $9? I said, no. And I go, now, how much did I tell you? And tell me the truth. He said, $3. I said, that's correct. $3 is what you get for your tooth. So when the tooth came out, I said, oh, let's go get your $3. And so I have this stash of cash. And he goes, where are you getting it from? I said, the mommy bank. You have a mommy bank? I said, I do. So I gave him $3 and I said, okay, now how much do you want to give to God? He goes, let's give God $3. I said, you want to give it all to God? He goes, if I give money to God, he will give me more. And I said, you're right, buddy. That's the right concept. But you don't have to give him everything. You know, usually I just give him some. So you want to give him 30 cents? And he goes, okay. So we gave 30 cents because in his savings bank you got him, which was that Dave Ramsey. We talked a long time ago about that on a podcast, but it's got a give section, like give to God, a save and a spend
and give. Yeah.
So he's really getting that concept. And when I witnessed all this past week, I was telling you, I think it's time for you to bring that out now. He really wants to earn money. He's learning about giving and then spending long term and sharing. So I think that's the time to bring that back out. But anyway, it was really, really cute.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So we've had several people that reached out to us since our last podcast.
Yeah.
Who are those?
And they're going to be in our drawing today.
Yeah. Who reached out?
So we have Tabitha Wood. We have James Craig. We have Marcia Russell. We have Tiffany Klett. And then this one came through Instagram. So she didn't write me directly through the like a private message, but she really poured out her heart about how she found us. And she's in Nigeria, which was really cool. And she was talking about her son and the similarities. And it says on here, Comsy Sparkle.
Oh, okay, so that's her
I don't really
username.
have the official name, but really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And we're going to do our drawing for
We are, and we're going to bring Bryce in for this.
Okay, so we're going to pause here.
And we'll be right back.
All right. Okay, we're back. Here's Bryce. Bryce, you want to say hi?
Hi.
Oh, he's drawing the name.
Oh, wait. Oh, already. Okay, just draw one.
No, I'm going to pick it.
Yeah, you're going to pick it. Okay, reach in and get
your eyes.
Just
pick
one. Just one.
Okay, you got one. What's the name?
Let's read it. Get closer to the mic.
Can you read it? You want me to?
Mommy, read it.
Terrible Wood.
Tabitha Wood.
Oh, yay.
Good
Congratulations.
job, Bryce. Congratulations, Tabitha. We will be in touch with you because we're going to send you a Parenting Autism t-shirt for your little one. We'll get the size, the name, have it custom made for you and sent to your home.
Yay. Bryce, is there anything else that you want to talk about?
What do you want to talk about today to the people? It's right. This is your time.
So, what we're going to do is, let's do the puppet show.
You do like the puppet show, don't you?
Let's do the puppet show with the podcast.
Oh, well, we don't have the puppets.
Maybe we will do that a different day.
They're not here right now.
Yeah, they don't come out until Sundays, remember?
Right, we're going to do it tomorrow.
Saturday.
For sure.
Tell them about your puppets. What's their names?
Superhero Puppet.
Yeah.
We have Superhero Puppet.
Do you remember another?
And Fuzzy.
And
Girl. And Lily.
Lily, the girl puppet.
Is there one more?
It's a girl puppet.
And which one does Daddy do?
Is it just Daddy Puppet?
Is it just Daddy Puppet, the boy puppet?
Yes.
Yeah. We have lots of fun, don't we?
Where's the puppets?
They don't come out till Sunday.
Yeah.
They come out tomorrow.
We'll get them out tomorrow. Anything else you want to talk about?
Anything else you want to share?
Are they staying at HQ?
Yeah, they're here.
They live here.
Headquarters.
Our house is the HQ. Yeah. Are you all done?
Yes.
Okay.
Hold on a sec, Mario Kart. I need it when I complete Animal Crossing.
Right.
Right. We
told you can't have another game for your Switch
until you finish
Animal Crossing.
Right.
Bye, people.
All right.
Thanks, everyone. We hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.